Well, good morning, everybody. I'm very happy to see you all here. It's a beautiful day. It's almost spring. Kind of spring. It is spring. It's just not warm, but spring is coming, I'm told. So we're here this morning to preview the events we've lined up for Emancipation Day 2016. This is the 154th anniversary of D.C. Emancipation Day. We take a moment, of course, to celebrate the abolition of slavery in the District of Columbia. D.C. Emancipation Day is celebrated on April 16th each year, and it's when we commemorate the historic day in 1862 when President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Compensation Act, freeing 3,185 enslaved people of African descent in the District of Columbia. This was 8.5 months prior to his signing the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. As we celebrate Emancipation Day, we honor the many champions who have fought for equality and civil rights throughout our history. We also use this opportunity to continue to fight for equality for all in our city as we renew our push for full democracy and statehood in the District of Columbia. The theme of this year is championing full democracy for the residents of Washington, D.C. On April 15th, I will host the first Full Democracy Champions Breakfast at the Willard Hotel, where we will convene a panel discussion among civil rights and voting rights champions. That's a good idea, right? Yeah. And I want to acknowledge and thank the people who stand with me, who have been fighting this fight for all of us. The first person I want to acknowledge is the person who has been fighting for Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C. as long as I can remember, who was very instrumental in making sure Emancipation Day in the District of Columbia was a D.C. holiday, who has also been a leader at the council in making sure the Council of the District of Columbia funds and participates and promotes Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C. So please join me in acknowledging Vincent Orange. I also want to acknowledge our senator who fights for us as well in promoting the cause and educating the public, not only here in Washington, D.C., but all across our nation, Michael Brown. Give Michael Brown a big round of applause. I want to acknowledge our other senator, Paul STRAUSS, who has a lot of creative ideas in getting people signed up and actually doing something about the cause of statehood in Washington, D.C. Give him a round of applause. And I want to acknowledge Beverly Perry, who is my senior advisor, who is responsible for our federal and regional relationships, as well as our relationships with the council and the business community, as well as helping us forge a new path towards statehood in Washington, D.C. Give it up for Beverly Perry. And the Secretary of State in the District of Columbia is Lauren Vaughn. Give Lauren Vaughn a big round of applause. The Secretary is responsible for any number of things in the District of Columbia, but relevant to today's discussion, promoting and educating Washingtonians about Emancipation Day. And of course, our archives is responsible for preserving those artifacts that support the history of the District of Columbia. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do this Friday when we meet at the Willard for breakfast. Elaine Jones will moderate the discussion that will examine the path from slavery to emancipation with a vision towards full democracy. I have invited other experienced civil rights leaders from around the country to engage in the discussion about how the lack of voting rights affects our civil rights. And on Saturday, I invite you to join me and the D.C. Council, school students, community groups, residents, audience as we walk in the Emancipation Day Parade. The parade begins at 1 p.m. at 7th and Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest. Now, there will be a lot going on this Saturday as the Cherry Blossom Parade is also happening on Saturday. So we invite everybody who will be participating in the Cherry Blossom Parade to stick around, learn about Emancipation Day as well. So we invite everybody to come out. If you don't have a group, join a group that is gathering now to walk in the parade, or bring your family down, or yourself down, or your neighbor down to watch the parade. You can come out and walk with us by signing up at emancipation.dc.gov. Our group will meet at 441 4th Street by Judiciary Square to form up. And for the first year, now Orange, you're going to like this, we will present a float in the Emancipation Day Parade that was built by Phelps Ace High School students in collaboration with the Hill Center at the Old Naval Hospital, and I hear some of the EOM staff too. The float was inspired by the events of April 16, 1862, when President Lincoln ended slavery in Washington, D.C. We have enjoyed a full month of educational activities, and we're coming to a close of the lecture series that has been presented by the Office of Public Records and by the Hill Center at the Old Naval Hospital. So you can find out more about Emancipation Day, again, by going to emancipation.dc.gov. Now, following the parade, don't leave because there is going to be a big Emancipation Day concert. And it's important that we talk about voting rights and civil rights in the morning, that we use the parade to educate a lot of visitors who will be here for the Cherry Blossom Parade as well about our cause. But it is also important that Washingtonians come meet each other and have a little fun. And that's what we're going to do at the Emancipation Day concert. The concert is free and open to the public. It begins at 2:45 right here at Freedom Plaza. Bring your families. There will also be one of my favorite things, a truck touch. Everybody know what a truck touch is? Yes. Lindsay, what's a truck touch? You can touch a bunch of trucks. So one thing that we know our little people love is they love to see the snow plows and the dump trucks and the, what do you call the thing, you know, all of those things. And so that we're going to bring a number of them out. We'll park them in front of the Wilson Building. We'll have fire trucks and other vehicles that the children can see how they work. The adults can see how they work too. So the truck will be here. There'll also be food. All of the places around, I'm sure, are going to be open, but we've invited some food trucks to come as well that will be parked just across from where we stand now. The concert includes, now I'm going to miss somebody, but I wanted to outline because it's really all day, and I want to thank film, television, and cable television, and music and entertainment. What I like to call the Film, Television, and Entertainment Office, for working with the Secretary's Office and the EOM to pull together a really fantastic free concert that highlights local talent. So I hear Sweet Honey and the Rock is going to be here. What time are they going to be on? I hear Rare Essence is going to be here. Raheem Devon is going to be here. Belladonna is going to be here. Black Alley is going to be here, as well as Trouble Funk. Now, it wouldn't be Emancipation Day in the District of Columbia without fireworks. And so we are also going to have fireworks as the day turns into the night, again, right here at Freedom Plaza. So we want you to be here, too. We couldn't and we wouldn't be here talking about Emancipation Day, having the whole city focused on Emancipation Day. Not only meant what it meant for our history, but what it means for our continued fight, if it wasn't for the advocacy of Vincent Orange. And I couldn't be more delighted than to partner with Councilmember Orange in a very productive, collaborative, executive, legislative relationship. And it's my pleasure now to invite Councilmember Orange to the podium.
Well, thank you so much, Madam Mayor, and this is certainly a beautiful day in the nation's capital for us to come together and have this extremely successful and seamless transition of the Emancipation Day activities and operations from the legislative branch to the executive office of the mayor. And the mayor and her team has done a great job, and I am extremely confident that Emancipation Day will be secure in the office of the executive mayor and her team. So I'm really feeling really good about that today. And not only this year does D.C. Emancipation Day impact the nation's capital, we actually are impacting the entire United States. For tax purposes, you don't have to worry about filing your tax returns on this Friday, April 15th. So come out and enjoy all the activities we've set up. In fact, you can enjoy the entire weekend, and you don't have to file your taxes until Monday, the 18th. And in fact, everyone in the United States gets until Monday, April 18th, to file their tax returns because for tax purposes, the federal government recognizes Emancipation Day as a federal holiday. So we are impacting the nation. So happy Emancipation, America. And the mayor is going to unveil what we're going to do to get statehood as well. So everything is moving in the right place. I just want to thank my staff and all those who have worked to get us to this point. And it's just been a great, great week. And, you know, for the first time, Madam Mayor, under your leadership, a fresh start, we know the weather's going to be good because we're always fighting with the weather. And so we have a couple other activities on the side. We will have a golf tournament over at Langston Golf Course. We'll actually have 18 foursomes, so we're going to have a great time on Friday afternoon. And then we're going to have the D.C. Emancipation Day Jazz Brunch at the Hamilton, where we will award 4 people the D.C. Emancipation Day Eagle Awards. There will be our civil rights attorney and leader, Wade Henderson, along with the Reverend Dr. Willie F. Wilson. We'll also be honoring Dr. Elsie L. Scott, and finally Dr. Ife Williams as well. So we're looking to have a great time, a great weekend, and just want to thank you all for supporting this effort, and let's just have a great time. Thank you so much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Let me also acknowledge our senators. Let me start. I'm probably screwing up some protocol here. I'm going to go with the senior senator in Paul Strauss. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We're looking forward to a great Emancipation Day celebration. There are activities leading up, and it is important that we address the historical wrongs and continue to keep them in context as we fight to address our present wrongs. Let me thank the mayor and her team for giving the statehood delegation some real resources this time that is allowing us to take our cause for statehood farther than we have before, whether it's across the globe to international organizations or to caucus states like Iowa and Nevada. We appreciate the fact that we have an administration that is backing the statehood effort with resources that we haven't had before, and we look forward to continuing to produce results for the people of the District of Columbia in our fight for statehood, full autonomy, full self-determination. We welcome this partnership, we appreciate this collaboration, and we appreciate your leadership, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And now, Senator Michael Brown.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. At my age, it's great to be called a junior anything. So I appreciate that. You know, 154 years ago, Abraham Lincoln put out a clarion call to America to say that slavery was going to end in America and it was going to start here in the District of Columbia. One thing that hasn't been mentioned is that at 9:30 on Friday morning, we're going to gather here on Freedom Plaza and march to the Capitol and take the same message to the 535 people that have been our overseers for the past 215 years. So I hope you'll join us in that effort and you'll help us get signatures, get co-sponsors. That's going to happen later in the day for the new Columbia Admission Act, which would make us the 51st state. It's time for us to move in less than 8 months, we will have a new government, and it's time for us to take that message to the Capitol. So please join us. And thank you, Vincent Orange, for keeping this day alive and making it part of what we do. And Mayor Bowser, thank you so much for being so involved and making such an event out of this. Thanks. I hope I see you on Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you heard it. I am hosting a breakfast about full democracy and voting rights. There's going to be a march from Freedom Plaza to the Capitol. These are Friday's events beginning at 9:30. Vincent Orange is hosting as well to support Emancipation Day, a golf tournament. On Saturday, we are going to be here for the Emancipation Day parade at 1 p.m. That's following the Cherry Blossom Parade, and everybody's going to stick around and come for that. Then we are going to have the free concert beginning at 2:45. Fantastic acts. Go to emancipation.dc.gov to see about all of them. And then we'll have the fireworks to cap the event. So let me just kind of put a little emphasis on why we're here. So when we talk about the fact that we're not a state, it's just not us whining or groaning, right? Right? It's just like every other American who has representation up on Capitol Hill. We're Americans. We pay taxes. We deserve that representation too. So this morning I got, even extra amped up about it because I read about the general manager going to the Hill today. And so he's going to be grilled by Congress people. But even before that, there's going to be a closed door meeting with senators from Maryland and Virginia. Now, we're one of the biggest funders of Metro there is, right? In Washington, D.C. Yet the general manager for Metro is being grilled by senators from Maryland and Virginia. So when we talk about full statehood and voting rights for Washington, D.C., it's a matter of us having our full rights as Americans, certainly, but it's also about the very practical effects of not having two senators in those meetings. So are you with me? Yeah. Are you with me? Because I know sometimes you say you're with me. And what we know and what we promised was that we have to take a different path. We have to think of all the new ideas. We had a big success this year, didn't we? When we took a different path towards budget autonomy. Guess what we got? Budget autonomy. Now, this year, it will be the first year that I send two budgets. We're not going to treat our budget any differently. We're not going to be treated like an agency of the federal government when it comes to our budget. And that's because the residents of the District of Columbia, the voters of the District of Columbia, stood up and demanded to be heard and took that demand to the ballot. And so I am just very proud that we have made and took and achieved an incremental step. But I know that all of us are going to be around the table to think about new and effective ways to get us all the way there. So we'll see you on Emancipation Day. Thank you, everybody.